Pamela Anderson, the ultimate bombshell of the 90s, didn't just captivate the world with her iconic run across the red sands of Baywatch. She became a symbol of fierce femininity, unshakable spirit, and a heart that refused to give up on love. Her story is more than just high-profile romances and whirlwind marriages. It's about a woman who dared to follow her heart, even when it broke. Every man who passed through her life left a mark. Some brought passion, others pain, but all shaped the Pamela we've come to know. Vulnerable, resilient, and unapologetically real. So if you're ready to dive into the loves that lit up Hollywood headlines and the quiet strength behind the glamour, stay tuned. Because this is not just a story about relationships, it's about a woman who kept choosing love no matter the cost. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we explore the raw, riveting, and deeply human journey of a living legend, Pamela Anderson. 1. Jon Peters, a Hollywood connection that defied time. They met like something out of a movie, under the dim, enchanted lights of the Playboy Mansion in the 1990s. Pamela Anderson was just 19, radiant and full of promise. Jon Peters, a powerful film producer, was instantly captivated. He called her his little angel and predicted stardom in her future. From that moment, a bond formed. Pamela moved into his lavish Bel Air estate, receiving gifts of clothes, jewelry, and cars, but they both insisted their early relationship was innocent, never crossing any lines. Decades later, in 2020, their paths crossed again in an unexpected reunion. A spontaneous wedding took place, but lasted just 12 days. Pamela later revealed they never filed a marriage license, calling it a funny moment rather than a serious commitment. Peters reportedly offered $20 million to Pamela's son to convince her to marry him, a gesture the family saw as nothing more than a joke. Their lunch with flowers and family felt more like a playful reconnection than a life-altering decision. The marriage ended via a text message, with Peters admitting that at 74, he was seeking peace, not passion. Still, he left $10 million for Pamela in his will, a testament to how deeply he cared, even if she never knew. Pamela, on her part, saw Peters as a cherished friend from her youth, but made it clear that Tommy Lee was her one true love. There was no bitterness, only respect, a quirky, colorful chapter in the Hollywood storybook of her life. Some people are meant to leave your life, but never your heart. 2. Scott Baio, a bittersweet beginning. After her time with Jon Peters, Pamela Anderson began a charming yet chaotic relationship with actor Scott Baio. They met at the Playboy Mansion in 1990, shortly after Pamela became Playmate of the Month. Scott, then 29 and famous for Happy Days, was instantly drawn to her. She reportedly turned down Sean Penn to be with Baio, and he even helped her land her first acting role in Charles in Charge, paving the way to Baywatch. In his memoir, Baio described taking things slow to impress Pamela at the height of her rising fame. But their differences eventually surfaced. He proposed impulsively during a bath, though he admitted it didn't feel right. His father disapproved of Pamela, while she believed they were fundamentally mismatched. She was spontaneous, he was practical. By 1993, Baio tried to win her back, but Pamela had already moved on. After their split, Baio returned to his bachelor lifestyle, dating Erika Eleniak, who later replaced Pamela on Baywatch. Pamela, meanwhile, stepped into new relationships with Bret Michaels, Jon Peters, and Tommy Lee. Years later, Baio reflected on his time with her during Scott Baio is 45 and single, a chapter he still described with quiet longing. Some relationships aren't meant to last forever, but they'll always leave a trace of what could have been. 3. Bret Michaels, when fire met fire. As her relationship with Scott Baio faded, Pamela Anderson was drawn to a different kind of energy, wild, electric, and untamed. Enter Bret Michaels, the charismatic frontman of Poison. Their romance lit up the early 90s like fire, passionate, intense, and sexy. From 1990 to 1993, they were inseparable. But while Pamela craved emotional depth and loyalty, Bret clung to his rock star freedom. She wanted something lasting. He wasn't ready to settle down. Pamela's mother also disapproved of Bret, even after he tried to impress her. once involving John Stamos in a plan to introduce her to the Beach Boys. Eventually, the fire fizzled out. In 1997, they crossed paths again, not as lovers, but as allies, teaming up legally to stop the distribution of a stolen intimate tape. They won a temporary court victory protecting their privacy. Despite everything, Bret held no grudges. When Pamela married Kid Rock in 2006, he called her amazing and referred to Kid as a friend. Pamela simply cited differences in love as the reason they split. Though short-lived, their relationship was unforgettable, a blur of lust, tension, and tabloid drama wrapped in true Hollywood style. Some flames don't last forever, but they light up the sky while they burn. 4. Tommy Lee, the wild love that never truly ended. As her relationship with Bret Michaels faded, Pamela Anderson's life took a chaotic turn, sparked by an unexpected encounter with Tommy Lee. On New Year's Eve 1994, Pamela sent him a drink at a Hollywood nightclub. Within weeks, Tommy flew to Cancun, proposed after 3 days, and they married the next day on the beach. Pamela didn't even know his last name. Their impulsive wedding marked the start of a love story both iconic and volatile. They honeymooned on a houseboat in Malibu, where a private tape was filmed, later stolen and leaked, igniting a media storm. Their sons, Brandon and Dylan, were born in 1996 and 1997, but the marriage was tumultuous. Pamela filed for divorce in 1996, briefly reconciled, and finally ended it in 1998 after Tommy's arrest for domestic violence. They reunited several times, on stage in 1999 and again in 2008, but never found lasting peace. Pamela has always described Tommy as the love of her life. Even after his 2019 marriage to Brittany Ferlin, she offered support. By 2025, tensions returned, though they remained connected while preparing to become grandparents. Their story was dramatized in Hulu's Pam and Tommy, a version Pamela didn't endorse. She later reclaimed her voice through the Netflix documentary Pamela, A Love Story, 2023, revealing what it meant to love deeply and survive under the spotlight. It wasn't a perfect love, but it was hers, and it changed everything. 5. Kelly Slater, a gentle flame on Baywatch shores. While still emotionally tied to Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson found a different kind of love, tender, spontaneous, and sun-kissed, with Kelly Slater. They met on the set of Baywatch in the early 90s. Pamela as Casey Jean Parker, Kelly as surfer Jimmy Slade. Their romance lasted nearly 2 years, filled with chemistry and sweet moments, though it wasn't exclusive. Pamela once described Kelly as a big love, free-spirited, sweet, but hard to hold on to. Things ended abruptly in 1995 when Pamela married Tommy Lee just 4 days after meeting him. She called Kelly to break the news, a moment she later called the cruelest thing she'd ever done. Years later, in her documentary Pamela, A Love Story, she spoke warmly about Kelly, admitting they were still involved when she married Tommy. Kelly, in turn, had no hard feelings, calling their time wonderful and showing support for her story by commenting on her son Brandon's post in 2023. They were even spotted together at an NBA game in 2000, a soft echo of a love that, while brief, never turned bitter. Not every love is meant to last. Some are simply meant to be remembered. 6. Marcus Schenkenberg, A Quiet Love. Between the storms, after the whirlwind of marrying Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson found herself craving something softer, calmer, something far from the chaos of rock stars and scandal. That something came in the form of Swedish model Marcus Schenkenberg. In the summer of 2000, Pamela fell for Marcus shortly after parting ways with Tommy. Their romance, which lasted from May 2000 to March 2001, was low-key but colorful. One moment that captured Pamela's heart: watching Marcus gently rescue a bird stuck in a toilet during a trip to Monaco, a simple act that spoke volumes. Their connection blossomed from there. They walked red carpets together, starred in a vibrant iceberg ad campaign, and Marcus was even slated for a cameo in Pamela's TV series, Viv IP. The relationship seemed destined for longevity. An engagement followed. But love doesn't always follow the script. On Valentine's Day 2001, Pamela's spokesperson confirmed the two had quietly gone their separate ways. Still, This was one of Pamela's few relationships with someone outside of the Hollywood chaos. A brief chapter with no drama, no headlines, just a gentle kind of affection. Some loves aren't meant to shake the world, just soothe the heart for a little while. 7. Kid Rock, a stormy romance that couldn't be tamed. After the calm of Marcus Schenkenberg, Pamela Anderson was swept into a whirlwind of passion and rebellion with Kid Rock. They met backstage at VH One Divas Live in April 2001 and quickly bonded over their children and shared love for wild, carefree nights. Pamela sent him Easter eggs the next day, and by September, they went public at the PETA Awards. Rock proposed in 2002, but disagreements over relocating to Michigan and a prenup caused strain. They split in 2003, only to reunite in 2006 aboard a yacht in France. On July 29th, they married in a spirited ceremony, Pamela in a bikini, Rock shirtless in a fedora, with a legal ceremony following in Beverly Hills. Just 4 months later, they filed for divorce. Tensions escalated over Pamela's role in Borat, and personal grief she felt he misunderstood. Their differences proved too great, and they cut off contact. Pamela later reflected on the relationship with mixed feelings, surprised by Rock's conservatism, yet appreciative of the kindness he showed her children. It was a love that flared fast and vanished just as quickly. Some loves come crashing in like thunder, loud, electric, unforgettable, and gone before you can catch your breath. 8. Stephen Dorff, a brief spark in Hollywood's glare. After the intensity of her relationship with Kid Rock, Pamela Anderson found herself drawn to a familiar face in the Hollywood circle, Stephen Dorff. Their romance, which began sometime between 2004 and 2005, was short-lived but stirred enough curiosity to catch the public eye. Both Pamela and Stephen were seasoned names in the entertainment world, and their connection unfolded during a particularly turbulent time in Pamela's life. The relationship wasn't heavily publicized, but it didn't go unnoticed. In December 2008, whispers of a rekindled flame surfaced when the two were spotted kissing in the lobby of Miami's Fontainebleau Hotel. Yet that same night, rumors swirled that Pamela had shared kisses with other men, adding a layer of tabloid intrigue to an already unpredictable story. Their time together, both the first and possible second chapter, was fleeting. While details about why they parted ways remain private, the relationship reflected the free-spirited, unbound lifestyle both Pamela and Stephen embraced during that era. It was a brief connection marked more by timing than longevity. In Hollywood, not every story is meant to last. Some are just passing scenes in a larger, more beautiful narrative. 9. Laurence Hallier. When romance and business collided, after things faded with Stephen Dorff, Pamela Anderson entered a relationship that blurred the lines between love and litigation, with real estate mogul Laurence Hallier. Their romance in the early 2000s was on again, off again, marked by moments of connection and growing tension. What began as a glamorous partnership soon unraveled into a courtroom drama. In 2006, Pamela sued Hallier, claiming he failed to fulfill his promise of building her a luxury penthouse at the Panorama Towers in Las Vegas, a project she had agreed to promote. Hallier fired back with a countersuit, demanding $22.5 million and alleging Pamela had not met her promotional obligations. The legal battle dragged on, but both parties eventually reached a private settlement and severed ties by 2010. A year later, Pamela filed another suit, seeking $1 million in damages for the unfinished penthouse. What may have once been a spark of romance had by then become a tangled web of business disagreements and broken expectations. This chapter of Pamela's life was less about love and more about standing her ground. It underscored the complexity of fame, trust, and the cost of blurred boundaries between personal and professional lives. Sometimes, the hardest lessons come wrapped in promises and leave behind contracts instead of memories. 10. David Binn, a quiet romance and a Pro Bowl surprise. After navigating legal battles and high-profile heartbreaks, Pamela Anderson found something refreshingly simple in her brief romance with NFL long snapper David Binn. Their relationship, which quietly unfolded between 2007 and 2008, was far more low-key than her previous Hollywood entanglements. Pamela rarely brought Binn into the public eye, making them one of her most private pairings. There were few red carpet moments, just two people enjoying each other's company away from the flash of paparazzi. Still, their romance earned an unexpected spotlight thanks to a humorous NFL anecdote. According to Peyton Manning, legendary coach Bill Belichick selected Binn for the 2007 Pro Bowl in Hawaii with one hope in mind, that Pamela would show up poolside in a bikini, lifting the team's spirits. When she didn't appear, Belichick reportedly turned to Binn and asked, deadpan, "Remind me why I brought you here?" Years later, Binn confirmed the story on the Pro Football Doc podcast, chuckling at the surreal moment. Though David Binn played in 256 NFL games, some still remember him as the guy who once dated Pamela Anderson, a testament to her enduring cultural magnetism. Their romance may not have been filled with drama or headlines, but it offered a moment of levity, warmth, and one unforgettable Pro Bowl memory. Sometimes the quietest chapters leave behind the best stories. And a smile. 11. Hans Klok, a magical partnership under the spotlight. After her brief romance with David Binn, Pamela Anderson returned to the stage, this time under the dazzling lights of Las Vegas, alongside Dutch illusionist Hans Klok. In The Beauty of Magic, Pamela played Klok's glamorous assistant, performing 12 minutes each night over a 3-month run. Wearing sparkling costumes and exuding classic showgirl charm, she captivated audiences, earning a reported $3 million. Their final show on December 10th was a standout, with Pamela lingering during the curtain call, leaving a lasting impression. In 2018, Pamela surprised fans by reuniting with Klok for a show in Hamburg, Germany. The crowd cheered as Klok lifted her into the air during the finale, despite rumors she was dating French soccer star Adil Rami at the time. Though their stage chemistry was strong, their relationship remained purely professional. Klok once joked about her ex Rick Salomon, saying he liked him, as long as there were no more videos. After Vegas, Pamela announced her move back to Canada, but her Hamburg performance reminded everyone the stage still had a hold on her heart. Not every connection is romantic. Some are simply a shared love for the spotlight and a little magic. 12. Rick Salomon, passion, chaos, and the pain of repeating history. After stepping off the Las Vegas stage, Pamela Anderson found herself swept into another whirlwind, this time with Rick Salomon, in a romance that flared fast and collapsed just as quickly. Their first marriage began impulsively in October 2007 during a wild Vegas weekend. By December, Pamela filed for annulment, citing fraud, later revealing she'd found a crack pipe in their Christmas tree, which Rick denied was his, though he admitted to past substance abuse. In January 2014, they unexpectedly remarried, Rick now sober, and Pamela proudly showed off her ring while vacationing in Italy. But history repeated itself. Less than 6 months later, Pamela filed for divorce again, citing his partying. It was finalized in April 2015, with both later apologizing for the pain caused. Pamela reflected on the relationship in her documentary Pamela, a love story, calling it passionate but chaotic, marked by fiery reunions and abrupt endings. Both had their share of public scandals, especially involving leaked sex tapes. Pamela's former stage partner Hans Klok once joked he liked Rick, as long as there were no more videos. Some lessons come wrapped in love, but teach us when it's time to walk away, for good. 13. Criss Angel, a brief illusion of romance. Following her first breakup with Rick Salomon, Pamela Anderson found herself swept into a brief but captivating connection with famed illusionist Criss Angel. Their spark began in 2007 at Pamela's VIP Halloween party in Las Vegas. The chemistry was instant. Soon after, they were frequently spotted together, on red carpets, in nightclubs, and even sharing the stage during one of Criss's magic shows at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Their energy was playful, mysterious, and impossible to ignore. But just as quickly as it started, the romance fizzled. The reasons for their split were kept private, but signs of affection lingered long after. In July 2008, Criss attended Pamela's birthday party, where the two were seen dancing, laughing, and sharing a quiet moment in the corner, her attention seemingly only on him. Years later, in December 2012, they were again seen celebrating together at Moon nightclub following a boxing match, sparking renewed whispers of something still between them. Though the relationship only lasted a few months, sources note it may have stretched from 2007 into 2008. It was one of those fleeting Vegas stories, glamorous, passionate, and a little mysterious, where the line between magic and memory blurred. Some romances don't need to be long to be unforgettable. They simply appear, enchant, and disappear like smoke on a stage. (14) Jamie Padgett, A Quiet Love by the Sea. As the bright lights of Las Vegas faded, Pamela Anderson found comfort not in fame or frenzy, but in the simplicity of everyday life, and in the quiet companionship of electrician and surfer Jamie Padgett. Their story began in November 2008 in Malibu, when Jamie was hired to work on Pamela's home. What started as a casual encounter quickly turned into something more heartfelt. By early 2009, they were often seen walking hand in hand along the beach, and Pamela, along with her two sons, moved in with Jamie. He even taught the boys how to surf, creating a warm, familial rhythm that stood in stark contrast to her usual whirlwind romances. Their relationship lasted a little over a year. By January 2010, the couple had amicably parted ways. Pamela held no bitterness, describing Jamie as a sweet guy and expressing hope that they could remain friends. Sources said she was ready to move on, open to finding love again. Rumors swirled that her ex-husband Tommy Lee wasn't thrilled about how close Jamie had become with their sons, possibly adding tension behind the scenes. Though their romance didn't make tabloid headlines or set off media frenzies, it represented something rare and real, a slice of normalcy nestled between ocean waves and shared laughter. It was fleeting, but sincere. Not every love has to shine under the spotlight. Some glow quietly, like a sunset only the heart remembers. (15) Jon Rose, A Love Fueled by Passion and Purpose. After parting ways with Jamie Padgett, Pamela Anderson opened her heart once again, this time to Jon Rose, a professional surfer and humanitarian whose mission was to bring clean water to those in need. Their romance sparked in 2011 and quickly swept across continents, from glitzy nights in Las Vegas to steamy summer evenings in Buenos Aires. In March, Pamela brought Jon as her guest to the Mob Experience in Sin City. By June, they were wrapped in each other's arms at the Rojo Tango show in Argentina, kissing, laughing, and glowing under the dim lights. Pamela, radiant in a short white dress, sipped wine while Jon held her close, seemingly unaware of the crowd around them. Jon's work as founder of Waves for Water added a deeper dimension to their connection. He wasn't just another handsome face. He stood for something. And for Pamela, who had weathered so many romantic storms, this relationship felt like a breath of fresh air. She had hoped it might be the calm, meaningful love that finally lasted. But like many chapters before, this one was short-lived. Though their time together didn't last, it burned brightly, full of chemistry, admiration, and the belief that love could still surprise her. Some loves aren't meant to stay. They're meant to remind us that hope still exists. (16) Matt Evers, A Graceful Connection on Ice. After the fiery romance with Jon Rose quietly melted away, Pamela Anderson found something gentler, something grounded in rhythm, trust, and fleeting connection, with figure skater Matt Evers. Their paths crossed in 2012 on the British reality show Dancing on Ice, where they were paired as skating partners. Their on-ice chemistry was immediate, flowing with ease and charm. That chemistry soon extended beyond the rink, and the two were seen together at various events, sparking whispers of something more than just a dance partnership. Though their time together was brief, it carried no scandal, no drama, just a quiet affection that faded as gracefully as it began. Pamela and Matt were the first couple eliminated from the season, partly due to a costume mishap, as Pamela later explained. Still, their bond was strong enough for them to reunite as guests on the Dutch version of the show, leaving behind memories of smiles and mutual support. Matt, a decorated skater and an advocate for LGBTQ+ rights who came out publicly in 2018, later credited Pamela and his other skating partners for shaping his journey. For Pamela, Matt represented a rare, simple joy in an often chaotic love life, an unexpected connection built on trust and movement. Some dances are short, but their rhythm lingers long after the music fades. "17. Julian Assange, a bond beyond romance." From glitzy stages to thought-provoking conversations, Pamela Anderson formed an unexpected connection with Julian Assange, one rooted in shared values and mutual respect. Introduced by designer Vivienne Westwood in 2014, Pamela began visiting Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he was in asylum. She brought vegan meals, support, and solidarity. Though their visits were private, media attention sparked rumors of romance. Pamela never confirmed anything beyond deep admiration. She described Assange as a teacher, a friend, and a hero, drawn to his mission of exposing global injustices through WikiLeaks. After his 2019 arrest, Pamela became a vocal advocate. She visited him in prison, supported his family, wrote to the Australian Prime Minister, and planned to speak before Parliament, believing he was sacrificing himself for truth. Even after Assange married Stella Morris, Pamela continued her support, celebrating his 2024 release. Their connection, rooted in ideals, not romance, remains one of the most meaningful and unconventional chapters in her life. Some connections transcend love stories. They become alliances of spirit, forged in truth and bound by belief. 18. Adil Rami, when love turned into survival. After her meaningful connection with Julian Assange, Pamela Anderson entered a whirlwind romance filled with glamour, passion, and eventual heartbreak with French soccer star Adil Rami. They met at the 2017 Monaco Grand Prix, and despite their 18-year age gap, the spark was immediate. Pamela moved to Marseille to be with him, attending his games and walking red carpets together. Even her mother once called Rami a sweet guy, and for a while, the relationship seemed full of promise. But behind the glossy surface, cracks began to show. Pamela declined his proposal in 2018, and though they briefly reconciled, things ended in 2019 with a public Instagram post. She accused Rami of cheating, abuse, and emotional manipulation. She revealed how she had tried to leave multiple times, only to be pulled back by empty promises. Rami denied the accusations, insisting his ties to his ex were only for the sake of their children. Pamela, however, fled France, hired bodyguards, and later shared her full account in her memoir, Love, Pamela, and the documentary Pamela, A Love Story. She described Rami as strong but jealous, leaving her with deep emotional scars, but no regrets. From World Cup glory to personal collapse, it was one of the most public and painful chapters in her life. Some loves break you, but surviving them becomes your greatest strength. 19th, Dan Hayhurst, A Quiet Pause in the Storm. After years of high-profile love and heartbreak, Pamela Anderson seemed ready for something simpler. That piece arrived during the pandemic lockdown, alongside Dan Hayhurst. Dan, a Canadian bodyguard and handyman, was hired in 2019 to work on her home on Vancouver Island, a place tied to her family's past. As the world shut down, their working relationship grew into something more, and they found comfort in isolation together. They married on Christmas Eve 2020 in a private ceremony at her family home. Pamela described their bond as naturally fitting, saying their year together felt like 7. For a time, it felt like calm had finally arrived. But as life resumed, the cracks surfaced. Pamela admitted that constant closeness revealed sides of Dan she hadn't anticipated. The connection faded, and she filed for divorce in January 2022. The breakup stirred controversy when Dan's former partner accused Pamela of disrupting their long-term relationship, calling it a pandemic joke. Despite the brevity and backlash, the chapter marked another step in Pamela's ongoing search for truth, love, and something real. Even in seeking stillness, we sometimes learn the most about who we are and what we're no longer willing to settle for. Love has never been simple in Pamela Anderson's life. From glittering Hollywood parties to quiet days in a wood cabin on Vancouver Island, every relationship has been a unique piece of a larger mosaic, some shimmering like spotlights, others shadowed by the weight of unspoken memories. She has loved, she has lost, and she has cried. But through it all, Pamela never stopped believing in love. She refused to be defined solely by her image, choosing instead to live boldly and authentically, sometimes wildly, sometimes vulnerably, but always with her heart wide open. So, which chapter of Pamela's love story struck you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take on these unforgettable moments of passion, heartbreak, and hope. And don't forget to subscribe, because behind every iconic life is a heart still searching for something simple, something real, a love that's truly worth it.